In this week's parsha, the Torah reviews the dietary laws, the laws which were first introduced in Parsha Shmini, in which the Torah basically outlines and lists which animals, birds, and fish are permissible for consumption. Now, as we know, the Torah permits and prohibits land animals categorically, rather than individually, based on very specific anatomical features. So an animal that both chews its cud, which what the Torah calls mali geira, and has split hooves, which the Torah calls mafris parsa. So such animals are permissible for consumption. If any one of these characteristics are missing, so we know that one cannot consume such an animal, nor its derivatives. And when an animal has both of these traits, so we traditionally label such an animal as kosher. Now, contrary to popular belief among the general populace, a particular food is not considered kosher because it was blessed by a rabbi, nor due to the fact that it costs more than non-kosher alternatives. Meat is kosher when it comes from an animal that has these dual characteristics, and it needs to be subsequently prepared in accordance with the halacha. It is therefore somewhat peculiar and a little strange that Chazal refer to a unique and exemplary person as being an Adam kosher. The Gemara in Shabbos Daf Kuf Hey Amud Beis as an example, but other places as well, uses that precise term when describing an individual of exceptionally fine character. Now, at first glance, this designation seems a little strange and out of place. After all, as we mentioned, the term kosher is a term that is used to describe an animal that is fit for consumption. The term is used almost exclusively to designate a food as being permissible. So why then do our rabbis use that very same term to describe a person who obviously is not going to be consumed by another? So what does that mean that a person is an Adam kosher? So I'd like to share with you a very insightful idea which I found in the writings of Rav Avram Pam, Zechrono Livracha, and he offers the following insight, which I think is really very enlightening. Rav Pam suggests that the two simani tahara, the two signs which designate an animal as a kosher animal, so they represent two different dimensions of our religious service. These two traits are symbolic of our conduct of actions bein adam l'makom, which means between us and God, as well as the conduct bein adam l'chavero, between us and other people. The trait of mali geira, which means chewing of the cud, so this obviously occurs inside of the body of the animal. It is hidden from public display, and this sort of represents the relationship between man and God. Because while it's true that others may detect clues which reveal the level of a person's individual commitment, it is ultimately a relationship which transcends the public eye and remains private within that individual, if you will, rather than without. The trait of mafreses parsa, to be a mafres parsa on the other hand, so this represents a different dimension, the dimension of bein adam l'chavero, the way I conduct myself when dealing with other people. Just as this feature of the animal's anatomy is readily visible to all of us, it is virtually impossible to fulfill one's obligations towards another in complete and total seclusion. By definition, this mode of one's avodas Hashem exists in the public arena, visible and noted by those around us, often making it necessary to reveal acts of goodness that one does for another. So based on this, Rapam basically suggests that an Adam kosher refers to an individual who possesses both traits. We are speaking of a person who, if you will, is balanced in their avodas Hashem. This is a person who cultivates and develops his relationship with his Creator, while simultaneously remaining mindful of the ever-changing needs of those around him. And while this may sound like a very easy goal to achieve, as we all know, it is very far from it. There are those who maintain a very steadfast commitment to their own personal relationship with God, but they struggle to demonstrate that same devotion to others. And at the same time, there are individuals who are constantly aware of others and compassionate towards their needs, but they fail to adequately devote time and attention to their own personal spiritual growth.